Welcome into LTSN. Greetings, everyone. I'm Jason Ross Jr. Alongside Dylan Morello, it is a pleasure to have you back here once again at the LTU Athletic Field on homecoming night under the lights. The Blue Devils are hoping to take advantage of an opportunity against a team that they have had success against in the past. History certainly favoring them in this matchup, an opportunity to also take sole possession of third place in the WAC for at least the moment. Lawrence Tech has been absolutely dominant over the last four, posting 4 consecutive clean sheets on this spectacular run. The Umbrellas are prepared for what could be a drizzly night, but these fans are hoping for a bright performance from the Blue Devils on this homecoming night, and we already have what appears to be a corner produced under this first minute. Dylan, hoping for another successful performance from Lawrence Tech tonight. The Blue Devils in search of their 5th in a row, and here comes the corner.
Yeah, Blue Devils on a roll, as you mentioned, Jason, winning their last 4 games and all by shutout.
Sirwatka, the kick there, and one that sails just wide. That time off the foot of Alvaro Marino. A brilliant early start coming from the Blue Devils here. Already applying the pressure on this Rochester team that comes in struggling but improved from last year's dreadful 1-17 season when they went 0-11 in the WAC. They are 4-8 in the conference, playing that 4-5-1 formation. The Blue Devils come in. We expect to see the 4-3-3 from Will Dyer's squad.
As you mentioned, Jason, Rochester, not a good season last year. They really picked it up this year, got a new couple recruits, and they really just changed their philosophy as every year is a stepping stone in the right direction for this team.
We did talk to Coach David Anderson before the match, and the Grace College alum did appear to be in good spirits. He knows his team is developing, and LTU certainly owns the historical confidence within this matchup. It has been 1,855 days since the last time Rochester beat LTU. That came back on September 11th of 2013. It's also been 44,000 hours and just over 2.6 million minutes since that last victory for Rochester in this matchup. So the Blue Devils taking the historical confidence and taking confidence from what they've done of late in WAC play, climbing up and playing with plenty of confidence. We talked to Kevin Wright yesterday at practice, and he said, we've been playing extremely well as a team. We've been connecting defensively. The forward line, the press has been great. The 4-game winning streak has been awesome, but we are trying to keep our minds off of that and just keep our minds on keeping the play up in the WAC level. And Dylan, being an athlete yourself, what is that mindset like when you are in a winning streak, but you don't want to look too far ahead?
Yeah, well, athletes by nature are a little bit superstitious, so I'm sure a couple of guys are, putting on their left boot before their right here during this win streak. But I also think it's just the mindset you instill on the bench, and that starts all the way up from management, down to the coaches, down to the players, down to the reserve players. Everybody has to buy into the system that your coach is selling there on the pitch. And I think right now LTU is bought into the system. They're doing really well. They're getting strong defense, strong offense, and also strong goaltending. So when everything is happening successful, I'm sure on the bench everybody's happy. Everybody has a little bit more pep in their step, even at practice, watching them out there and talking to them even in class or in the AC or whatever they are. They're really excited about this season so far and what they're doing, and every game is a stepping stone. There's always something to improve on, and I feel like LTU right now is just at the high, but there is still a lot of levels they could get to here this season.
It has been quite the season. They came in with high expectations off of last year's 14-5-2 season. They've had a nice comfortable space to turn up and look upfield here. It was Santiago Amigo, a senior from Madrid, looking downfield for that long, quick ball that we've seen them aiming for a couple of times now through these first 5 minutes. Blue Devils won this matchup 7-0 a season ago. It was a Rochester team that at the end appeared to be a lifeless carcass.
Both teams right now just getting a feel for the ball, getting a feel for each other, as a little bit slow pace expected to pick up here. As we mentioned, Jason, the umbrellas are out, so it is raining right now, as you fans watching at home probably can't see on the screen, but it has become drizzling. But the fans are still here with the umbrellas, and also free chicken tenders from Uncle Joe's here served at the game, trying to get a big crowd, and we have that here tonight at the Southfield Field.
It is filling in. The band is out and playing, and it feels like a college atmosphere on this homecoming week as the Blue Devils look to advance up here. Santiago Amigo, the industrial engineering major. We'll play it on over to Chris Serwatko, one of the leaders on this Blue Devil team, who has had such a magnificent season. That will go out of play. Santiago Amigo said that he always wanted to play college soccer and knew that he wanted to go to school in the U.S. and study engineering, and this is certainly a place to do it.
LTU known not only for its athletics, but also its collegiate programs and academics. And all the teams around campus right now are just really smart on the field, but also in the classroom. And it's great to see from this college that really, with installation of football and all the other teams around, is really building and getting a reputation here in Michigan.
It has been fantastic to see the Blue Devils almost creating a tad bit of danger there, but sealed off at the last moment by that back line of Rochester. Typically see them with that, what appears to be that back four right now. See if the Blue Devils can try to break through it. Sean Humphreys. Now back to the back three for the Blue Devils of Santiago Amigo, Bryce Nicholson, and Alvaro Alaman. We'll go back to Nicholson here. He's been granted quite a bit of trust in his sophomore season.
LTU trying to press up the field right now, but good play in the midfield there by Rochester. Not really letting any flow happen from LTU's game so far here tonight.
Blue Devils doing well to maintain possession early on. That's something that they spoke about in practice yesterday, maintaining that possession. Here is Kevin Wright. Wright, one of the players that the LTSN team spoke with yesterday.
Yeah, possession is key for any football club out there, as they really need to move the ball. And as you've seen this little win streak by LTU, ball possession has been key in all their victories.
Alaman, and an easy save made that time by Wyatt Chun, who's making his 11th start of the season for Rochester. You wonder how much longer it will be until he is facing a severe amount of pressure. Moving up here, Ryan Resendez. Looking down that wing. There's a little crosser into the box, but that will be well wide and into the side of the net.
LTU there with their first really good strike there on net, as nothing happening particularly great offensively so far in this game.
We mentioned the success that the Blue Devils have had in the past against Rochester. In the last 4 meetings, the Blue Devils have scored at least 4 goals against this Rochester team. So we wonder how many will be scored tonight under the lights in this bright atmosphere.
The key here tonight for both teams too, Jason, is getting that first goal up on the board. That sets a mindset and a tone for the rest of the game, as the other players have to start working to play defensively or offensively for either side.
See if Nicholson can win this header. He did well there. Here is Nicholson. He'll look up, taken down, and the flag is up. Fans immediately wanted the reaction from the official, and they did get that reaction, and the Blue Devils able to advance it down there. Nice sportsmanship between Marino and Nathan Tranzow.
Strong play there by Nicholson on the back end. Just love how he plays defense. His coach praises about him. He's on the field almost all game, and that's just because of how great a defender he really is back there. Really the solid core.
One of fearless players in this Blue Devil team. They cross it into the box. In the vicinity there was Marino. Sirwatka was also streaking down the middle. Couldn't quite find anything, although this possession advantage continues for the Blue Devils. Nice little nifty move there. It's a breakthrough from Ryan Resendez. Resendez! And bounces out Kevin Wright. There it is, and the Blue Devils strike first to the delight of this crowd. It felt like a matter of moments until that would happen. And Kevin Wright responsible, the junior forward from Linden High School, his 7th goal of the season, and it is 1-0 in favor of the Blue Devils.
Great play there by Wright to stay onside. Waited for Resendez to get that nice kick low into the ground. The goalie had a little bit of trouble there, catching that in between his gloves, and the rebound comes right out. And LTU up here 1-0, and the fans are buzzing.
Blue Devil team buzzing around indeed. 1-0 the score now.
As I mentioned just moments before that goal, Jason, the first goal is going to be huge, and you see right off that next kickoff as LTU really putting on the pressure again right away, looking to get that second marker.
Look at all the open space here for Santiago Amigo to look up. He'll fire, and that sails wide. Plenty of room to play with there and plenty of room to maneuver. This Blue Devil team comfortable early on.
Yeah, right now you see Amigo there as well, getting that long kick, long strike to the goal, looking for his players to crash into the net. And right there, that one just goes just wide, but looked reminiscent there of the first goal.
Cleared away quickly there by Amigo. Any chance of progression coming that time from this Rochester team that is 4-8 on the season. Running that 4-5-1 formation. Rochester down in the basement of the conference right now, but an upset win tonight could be big for them to get up to 2 wins. They're at 1-4 in the conference. We mentioned Lawrence Tech with a win tonight could, for the moment, take sole possession of 3rd place in the WAC. Madonna currently owns 3rd place in the WAC. Both teams are 4-1 in the conference, but by virtue of beating Lawrence Tech on this field earlier in the season, Madonna currently owns that 3rd place tie, although Madonna doesn't play until Saturday against University of Michigan Dearborn, a match that they will be favored in, and most think they will win. So we don't know how long it'll be until LTU once again drops back down to 4th by virtue of that tie, but this is a big night for them to hope to move up. This is an LTU team that was picked 3rd in the preseason poll, and they could get there tonight.
Yeah, not only a big game for LTU, but also for Rochester. This is one of those games, Jason, it's a measuring stick game. As you're playing a team well up in the conference, you have to get your legs moving, get your confidence going, and if you come out even with a tie or a close game, that could be a key turning point in the season to turn it around and get going. Looks to be a corner kick now for Lawrence Tech.
It was Sean Humphreys attempting to cross. Couldn't quite get that, but he was able to draw a corner, and this will be the 2nd corner opportunity of the night for the Blue Devils. It's in and pops out quickly, but Marino in there. Now looking to settle it down. Into the box, the header! That sails wide. Once again, it appeared to be right in there. He had visions of goal number 2, and it would have been spectacular had he converted.
After the first goal for LTU, right now putting up the pressure, and their last home game here against Aquinas, they had 2 set-piece goals, so I love what they do there with the corner kicks, rushing the players in, and just being around that net front presence, really key for LTU, as the set pieces have been all year. Right there doesn't connect, but look for them future corners down the road here in this game to pot one in.
You wonder how much longer Rochester can just sit back like this until they do concede another one. The Devils have come out with energy, they have come out with a jump, and they've come out with confidence as anticipated.
Yeah, ball possession right now really in favor of Lawrence Tech, as I've been looking to my left pretty much all through this first quarter so far here tonight, with 30 minutes here remaining. Only 3 shots on the board for LTU right now, Jason, but it seemed like a lot more as the pressure just really building. Another set piece here.
This will be the third. Here's the delivery! And jumping up to save that was Wyatt Chun.
Yeah, good play there by Chun, as really he has to instill that confidence back in his team after letting up that early one on his own rebound. You really look to your goalkeeper to be your backbone throughout the season, but also throughout individual parts of the game. And right there, a good save to get his confidence back up for his team.
Doing well to settle that ball down was Alvaro Marino. Looks like it took an odd hop at first, but he did a really nice job there. Now he gets it on back to Alvaro Garcia, the junior from Mallorca. Now here is Santiago Amigo, another Spaniard. That went too tall that time for the leaping header attempt of Ryan Resendez. But still, it's been a pleasure to watch this LTU team through the first almost half of this opening half, and they have been brilliant. They have maintained possession. They have been comfortable. You think Will Dyer will be pleased from what he saw, what he has seen to this point?
Yeah, early on, the offensive strikers for LTU not really having to shield the ball or anything, as just the defense really, they're playing zone coverage right now for Rochester. Not really man-on-man. They're letting LTU really carry the ball pretty much to the top of their box and just rip it in, as it's going to be a throw-in to our right.
Could Jewett, Max Jewett, in goal for the Blue Devils, who has been sensational this season. Could he perhaps face some pressure for the first time in this game? He only faced 1 shot on goal against Cleary, was quite comfortable. Here's a long throw-in. The header is back and no threat for Jewett.
Yeah, the goalkeeper loves that. Only 1 shot on goal in the whole 90 minutes, and that just gives a real nod of the cap, tip of the cap there to LTU's defense. But as I mentioned before, Jason, just their team as a whole, they really are buying into the defensive system. And Jewett, he's getting WAC Player of the Weeks and a bunch of awards and nominations here, just based as a whole team effort.
4-3-3. You really see the fullbacks with a license to push forward. The Blue Devils pushing forward here, but stripped away at the last moment. Getting back and hustling back to doing a nice job was Tyler Summeth, the Rochester High School alum, a freshman from Rochester, one of 3 freshmen that came in from Rochester High School, deciding to stay home in a recent class, as the band is continuing to elevate this atmosphere on what's been a fun night so far for Blue Devil fans.
Yeah, you know the pressure is high when all the defense for Rochester could do is just clear it out to the sidelines, and that's still possession for the Blue Devils as they get that throw-in, but now it's going to be a free kick here at their own end of the field.
Head coach Will Dyer has spoken about the fact that anybody can beat anybody in this conference, so you can't come out and take any opponent lightly. Dylan, you know about that, coming out and with that mentality, not wavering your mentality at all, but coming out and keeping everything the same and looking to get your mission done.
Yeah, that's what I love about this LTU club, as they just come out and they play their game. It doesn't matter what opponent they have. Is a little break there, but it doesn't matter what opponent they have. That's called offsides on LTU. But they come out with the same attitude. They never play down their opponent. You love to see it. The fans love to see it, and so do the coaching staff, as they come out, play their game, which is strong offense matched by solid defense. And that's Blue Devils soccer right there.
Here's Mourinho trying to turn. He was in offsides last time. Finds Sean Humphreys. Little header, bounces wide. And looks like the Blue Devils players are claiming that it was touched by the left hand of Wyatt Chun. But it will not produce a corner.
Yeah, LTU looking for the corner there as that one sails just right as it hooked far. Probably with the wind, as the wind is picking up a little bit here. The rain has stopped, though, but being on the sideline before the game, the turf is definitely a little bit soaked. Haven't really seen it play a factor early on in this game, but you never know, as that one is punted away.
First substitution of the night coming from the Rochester side. Cam Harrison makes his way in, number 11 in black. But moving forward here are the Blue Devils once again, hoping to create something. Chris Serwatka had runners moving forward down the middle. It was Kevin Wright again through there, but couldn't quite find him.
Serwatka looking for a pass there, but in that situation, if I was the coach, I would say be selfish. He had a lane just to get a shot on net there. As we've seen before, this goalie giving a lot of rebounds. And after that corner, that one is sailed back into midfield and will go out of bounds there on the far sideline.
Blue Devils lead it 1-0 with under 25 to play now here in this opening half from the LTU Athletic Field. It's a pleasure to have you here on LTSN. Kevin Wright's goal is the difference at the moment. Blue Devils have been in control and in command. If you're just tuning in here on LTSN, make sure to tune in this upcoming Saturday. We'll be right back at it. I'm here, Jason Ross Jr., alongside Dylan Morello. LTU football back in town for the big homecoming game as homecoming week moves on. The Blue Devils getting set to take on what could possibly be a future rival in Indiana Wesleyan, and that should be a fun one coming up this Saturday at noon Eastern time right here on the LTU Athletics YouTube channel and the LTU Athletics Facebook page.
Yeah, looking forward to that this weekend, Jason, but I was also looking forward to this matchup as it's the first athletic game here of homecoming week. Bunch of fans, as we mentioned, everyone coming out to support, a bunch of hype around campus as well, partaking in all the events here for homecoming weekend. The fans who showed up got a little treat before the game with food and also a little treat with the first goal of the evening for LTU.
Food never hurts. Chicken tenders and fries.
Yeah. Nice LTU classic.
Yeah. Midnight Madness for the basketball teams on Friday night. Highly anticipated season for both teams. The women were just named, were picked second in the WAC preseason poll.
And that just atones right there, Jason, to the confidence that even the scouting staff has with all these Blue Devil teams. As they really go out there, they find the top-end athletes, and LTU is a pleasing school, and we bring them in, and that makes our teams just that much deadlier there. So people coming in here to Southfield know the Blue Devils are for real, know we're here to play, and not just here to have fun, as so far Rochester is seeing that with possession 80% for LTU.
And Dylan, as a Blue Devil athlete yourself, where do you think you've seen that progression of LTU athletics? And you're in it on a daily basis with hockey practice. I know you've got practice tonight. Where have you really seen that growth?
I've just seen it through the players mainly. Just the people that come in. As hold on, we got a shot here.
Move, Marino looking for the seconds, but couldn't quite find it. Inches away, the Blue Devils coming close again that time.
Yeah, I've just seen it throughout all the athletes. I mean, you're always on campus, and everywhere you go, you see, LTU soccer, LTU baseball, LTU softball, women's lacrosse, hockey. It's on everybody's apparel, on their backpacks. They wear it right on their hearts here at LTU, and that's something you love to see. Even if you're a non-athlete student, you can really fall behind these players and teams because, they are students. They're in the same boat as you. They just play a game out on the field. So I just love the growth so far. I've only been here. This is my second year here, Jason, and I know it's your first. So early on, you've seen it. I've seen it now. Just the growth all around through athletics, through this university is really great to see. And, I mean, I just love the atmosphere that LTU really has brought this year with all its teams.
Serwatka! That sails wide. It was a wonderful turn on that right-hand side from Alvaro Alaman as the Blue Devils once again somewhat easily progressing through the midfield and making their way down. Currently leading 1-0 as we approach the final 20 minutes of this first half under the lights from Southfield. And Dylan, I've absolutely loved it so far. You know, you mentioned all the blue that walks around campus, the bands adding to tonight's atmosphere. The rain has halted a bit. Nothing like what we had to deal with last Saturday night. The women's soccer team, we bounced back yesterday with a 4-0 win on the road. Big for Andy Richards' squad. But they had to deal with quite the downpour. You could even call it somewhat of a monsoon that they had to deal with last Saturday night. Had a lightning delay. Doesn't appear that'll be in our future tonight. Kevin Wright, he was looking for the second goal that could perhaps be in his future, but sliding out there was Wyatt Chun again.
Yeah, right now playing with a lot of confidence. As soon as I mentioned you get that first goal, you just loosen up, you know, the monkey off your back, so to speak. And LTU right now just really pedal to the metal and really haven't stopped their offensive pressure so far here in this game.
Nicholas Rodriguez Bermejo made a run after it there. He had a spectacular performance, to say the least, last year against Rochester, putting up a hat trick. Those were 3 of the 7 goals the Blue Devils put up against Rochester in the lone matchup a season ago. Expect to hear more from Rodriguez Bermejo as the night lives on.
Rochester trying to get the ball downfield, trying to get something on net here, but just nothing working as clogging up that midfield. The LTU defense doing a great job.
It's been a parking lot in that midfield. They were looking down there for the forward, Morosky. He's gotten off to a nice start in his collegiate career. He's impressed this coaching staff of Rochester with 3 goals. He's been given now 10 starts. But Rochester hoping to break through here, although looks like we'll get a call. And they will have a chance to at least advance it and do it in a calm fashion here.
Yeah, refs playing advantage early on this game, as not many free kicks or fouls awarded to any teams yet, as that one, the first whistle in quite some time.
Here's the delivery, looking far post that time. Over there was Alex Afimo, the Detroit native and Oakland University transfer. Now looking to counter are the Blue Devils. Nice little touch up there from Alvaro Marino, looking down for Nicholas Rodriguez Bermejo. And he was badgered all the way down that left-hand side.
Yeah, that's what you love to see from Rochester's point of view on the defensive end, as they just have to get into the face of these LTU players. You know they have offensive potential, just to take away their time and space.
The free kick, and deflected out there. Looks like it went off the head of a Blue Devil, but didn't quite get the direction that was desired. With now under 20 to play here in the first half, that has been separated by Kevin Wright's goal, his 7th of the season. And this will be another corner. It's the 4th. Nothing doing there. Sirwatka tries to settle it down, but it'll just hop up and off of his head and in favor of Rochester.
Yeah, 4th set piece there for LTU, as nothing going so far, but look towards the end of this half and also the second half of the game for them to really start putting on more pressure, as Jason's kind of settled down here after that first goal these last couple of 5 minutes.
Things have calmed down a bit, definitely. Blue Devils in that 4-3-3 formation, they've held strong on their back line. Faced a little bit of pressure, but now they come back the other way, looking to test the 4-5-1 formation that this Rochester team presents. That back 4. And now here comes Alvaro Marino looking to test just that. It's popped out. He had Wright streaking it again. Rochester player a little gimpy, as was some contact down there. Appears to be Martin Ivasaj, the Albania native freshman out of Rochester High School.
Yeah, just as we mentioned that the pace was kind of slowing down right there, LTU turned it up on a dime, and that's what you like to see from their offense as they kind of, just wait back, wait for their moments, and when they do see those moments, they break right through.
Here comes the 6th corner of the night. Touch on it there, but nothing to materialize.
Yeah, good box coverage there by Rochester as no one open in the gray and white.
Rochester there defending on the edge of that 6-yard box. And it still remains 1-0 here in the opening half. Another big whack matchup for this Blue Devil team as they have their eyes set on the postseason. You wonder if the motivation of that postseason, all the expectation, how well they've played over the last 4 games, you wonder if that motivation has tied into how well they've played over the last 4 games as they continue to eye what could be down the road if they keep this high level of play up.
Yeah, the high level of play, that's always awesome. But, with the high compete level and the high success level, that gets other teams putting their target on your back. So that may be a little bit tough here, but I'm sure LTU soccer, the players and the coaching staff, they embrace that challenge. They want other teams looking at them like, hey, this is a big game. This team is on fire. We got to stop their streak. Some teams, go for long streaks of time, and then they kind of lull. But right now, I don't see any stopping this train here for LTU.
Next up on the road in Fort Wayne for the Blue Devils. That'll be against the WAC's top team in Indiana Tech. That could be a big opportunity to possibly hand Indiana Tech their first WAC loss. Indiana Tech has really been a surprise this year in the WAC. They were picked 5th in the preseason poll, although they sit up there at the top at 5-0-1. It's a very crowded top. The Blue Devils can really make some noise with a win tonight and possibly a win against Indiana Tech next up. But it will be a challenging task, to say the least.
Yeah, Indiana Tech's going to be a big challenge, as you mentioned, Jason. They weren't projected to be up there. But all it is just the compete level and the players' heart. These are all good soccer players out there. And it's just how you put all the little ingredients in the puzzle to make a good birthday cake. And that's what they have done there at Indiana Tech, as they're up there and they're streaking as well. As you mentioned, 5-0 in conference play. But this Lawrence Tech team, if they keep stringing together these wins, I'm sure they're going to come into that game with just as much confidence as Indiana Tech, and it's going to be one for the ages, as that's going to be a real key factor in who gets those 3 points and moves up the standings.
You just never know going into a season. Difficult to trust what someone has put down on a piece of paper before the players actually get out there on the field. This Blue Devil team has looked very well on the field so far tonight. As we get closer and closer to the break, the winds is bustling from right to left. A little bit of protest here, both teams claiming their sides. Nonetheless, it appears to be another corner that will be produced here for Lawrence Tech. This is the 7th. Header knocked down. Now popped up once again over top of that crossbar.
First of 7 corners right there where LTU finally got a head on the ball on that cross in. And a good chance there, as that one has to be punched away late.
Watka trying to turn away. What a pirouette. Oh, wow. He was able to somehow keep it alive and keep it on his foot. Dazzling effort from Chris Watka, but now stripped away momentarily. Flying down there was A.J. Santani, but Rochester able to keep it in their possession momentarily. Sirwatka strips it back once more. Now looking up ahead here down that left flank, he has Nicholas Rodriguez Bermejo, who tries to fight and serpentine his way free. Back it goes, and now the ref will blow the whistle and direct possession back to Rochester after that sporadic and eventful sequence.
Yeah, right there, foul for LTU as the ball was playing a little bit hot potato there at the near sideline, as both teams not really getting a handle there, and that would be punted far left side.
Bryce Nicholson, a towering clear. Almost lost sight of that one up in the lights there. Now here is Nicholson. He'll look to settle it down and simply play it back to his support in the goalie Max Jewett.
Jewett with his first little action there in quite some time. As he's going to grab the ball once again.
Jewett has not been under too much pressure tonight. It's been, for the most part, very comfortable, very relaxed, and he stayed poised back there, staying fresh. This is another start for Jewett.
Yeah, and you're going to need a starting goaltender like that to be in the lineup come grind time, come playoffs, come the end of the season. So it's good to give him a rest here against, not saying that Rochester is an easy team. It's only 1-0, but, a team that won't apply that much pressure to him.
15th start of the night for the 6'6" goalie. Hailing from Sterling Heights.
Yeah, and you see in LTU's long win streak here, all shutouts. But, one shot there in the last game. So it's not just all the goalie. It's totally by team, by committee. But it's good to see, even if your defense does fail, nobody's perfect. LTU's defense right now in this win streak has looked perfect. But, it's awesome to have a goalkeeper back there that really has your back. So if you do feel, you have someone back there to stop those strikes.
Blue Devils have done well to settle down those long headers. They did a nice job there. As the rain begins to fall once again under the lights as we approach the final minutes of this opening half.
Yeah, rain coming down now in a light little mist, a little bit more than before, as people opening their umbrellas once again, but still a full crowd here. If you're just joining us, as we mentioned before, it is homecoming week, the first athletic event of the week. Big hype going on as the first 100 students to the game here tonight receive some Uncle Joe's fried chicken. People in the booth, we also had that, and we're excited here as LTU 1-0. 7 minutes remaining in the first half here, Jason.
You look up into the lights, you can notice how hard that rain really is coming down now. Adding a little bit of drama to this scene, though. Here is
turf field here for Lawrence Tech, so it won't be muddy. But, even with the little plastic pebbles out there, it's a slippery one. And now with the added rain on plastic, that's going to be a little bit tough as the wind is also blowing. You see it's sideways right now.
Yep. Definitely.
So still warm. A crisp 70 degrees here, average.
Savoring the final days of this warm weather.
Yep.
Here in Michigan.
Winter coming, so hopefully for the football game Saturday, fans, as we mentioned for homecoming, football will be Saturday at 12 p.m. That's going to be the first really football-type weather game here at LTU. Should be exciting. We'll be wearing our winter coats.
These last couple of days, I'll have to admit, I've tried to go with the shorts and a T-shirt to savor those final days. of the warmth. But as you said, football weather is ahead. I'm looking forward to that, though. Can't beat a true Michigan type of football day. And that's what appears to be in the forecast for Saturday. Right now, this Blue Devil team looking to create some magic of their own. Incoming in Nicholas Rodriguez-Bermejo, settling down Humphreys, centering into the box, but unable to produce anything there with under 6 to play now.
Humphrey throws his head up to the sky there, lets the rain trickle down his face as he tried to cross that into the middle. Going for a run ball, but nothing connecting there. LTU trying to extend this lead before they go into the half.
Humphreys ran right into the defense that time of Nathan Transow, who's done a nice job tonight for Rochester. Been one of the few bright spots for Rochester as that ball takes a fortuitous hop in favor of LTU off the official, and now look to take advantage of that here with Humphreys leading down Nicholas Rodriguez-Bermejo. He was dispossessed. A little bit of congestion over there. Rodriguez-Bermejo with his hands up, felt there should have been a call. There wasn't. Although the Blue Devils still with a bit of an advantage here. Breaking through nicely is Alvaro Garcia. Stripped at the last moment before he could find a way to get that left foot off.
Garcia going right there, 1-on-3. Can't go past 3 defenders. He has to work with his team there. But love right now the little adjustment by Rochester. As I mentioned before, earlier in the half, Jason, they're really letting LTU run with the ball, go through the midfield, carry speed. Right now, as you see there, another takeaway, as they're really taking away LTU's time and space. And even when it comes deeper into their own end, really shutting that down, putting three players on one guy.
Christian Jalai trying to manufacture something there. And now here is Mitchell Morawski, the freshman. Dylan, I mentioned that, maybe we wouldn't have to deal with the type of rain that the women's soccer team had to deal with on Saturday, but I might have been wrong.
Yeah, as long as there's no lightning or no delays, they will play through it. And, I mean, it's one of those atmospheres. It's kind of like the NHL Winter Classic, playing in the snow for soccer players. It's fun to play in the rain. It's a little bit different, and I'm sure these guys are loving it here, especially with the lead. As it cools you down, and it makes you, I think, more focused, as last year also LTU's hockey plays outside at Clark Park, snowing out there, and I just know from personal experience, you wake up for those games a little bit more.
Almost like being out there as a kid again, I guess. You're just kind of out there roaming around, buzzing around in the rain. You don't care. It's just go out there and compete. The fans do have their umbrellas up. Similar scene to what we had last Saturday night.
Camera gets a little wet. I was going to say, is that okay for it? Okay. I don't know.
Here's Sirwatka. Nothing doing there.
And that one should have been crossed in the air. That one on the ground, easily intercepted by Rochester's defense as LTU. Quick transition there.
Santiago Amigo. But he was sealed off that time by a Rochester backline that has settled in defensively. They are able to calm things down, as you mentioned earlier, Dylan, through the first 10 minutes. Things were all LTU. A couple of early chances that ultimately led to the lone goal that we have from Kevin Wright, his 7th of the season, to make it 1-0. Since then, the Blue Devils have certainly had the possession advantage, but now trying to find a way to capitalize on another.
Yeah, that last play there by Amigo is what I love to see, as he's one of those two-way players that coaches just love, as he's stout defensively, as he is there on the back line. But if he gets the ball and he sees an opening, he's going to take it. He's one of those offensive defensemen. As you see Nicholson there, once again, as I mentioned, the core back there applying pressure, and LTU takes away the ball, and they're back upfield.
The versatility. In this formation, you really see the fullbacks on that back line have a license to push forward. There are guys in this LTU team who can play multiple positions, as you mentioned there, Dylan, and we see the sliding starting to take place now. Approaching now under the final 90 seconds to play here in this opening half. Now getting down to the final 60.
Yeah, definitely getting soaked out there are the players. But like we said, great atmosphere. Fans still here as they came prepared. They looked at the weather, and that just shows a loyal fan group as they know what to bring to the games. They're coming out here to watch. We're up here nice and dry in the booth, but we feel for them out there, as I'm sure the atmosphere is even just as enjoyable for them, especially when your Blue Devils have a lead here in the first half of this homecoming game.
Kicking things off for homecoming week. And here is the free kick. Trying to find his way free there was Kevin Wright. He was really the only one with a chance, and now he might be charged here. He appears to be the guilty party.
How many fouls so far in this game? The ref letting pretty much both of these teams play on, but I like how both of them aren't too aggressive. I mean, they're getting the ball, moving it, but you know, no harm, no foul type of plays here. As a nice little keep of the ball on the near sideline.
Sirwatka galloping, now finding Wright. A little tap back. Sirwatka making a run. Out comes White John. There's a shot and a goal. Does it appear to be
over the net,
over
Jason?
The net.
Yep, right over the crossbar as it looked like it from this angle. And we saw a couple fans jump up, but that one, a ripper from the right side. Trying to go upper 90, and it just sails right over the crossbar.
Final seconds of this opening half. Wind down the shot from Sirwatka. It was a lovely run, but just couldn't quite capitalize. Right over the top of the net. Blue Devils almost making it 2-0, but our final at the end of this first half is 1-0. We'll be back after the break. A downpour under the lights here on this first homecoming game of the week. You're watching LTU Men's Soccer on LTSN.
Thank you.
I was going to see some awesome contraption to hold the umbrella.
No, this ratch out here. Yeah, the wind starts blowing around like this. Like,
I can tell from that side.
yeah, the thing was getting all wet. So, not good, but. She's like partway waterproof, I think. Right. Huh? Oh, yeah, they can.
Welcome back to LTSN. The Blue Devils up 1-0 as we get the second half underway from the LTU athletic fields. LTU in search of their 5th consecutive win, a win that could perhaps put them in sole possession of 3rd place in the WAC for now. They are 7-4-1 on the season coming into tonight, but most importantly, 4-1 in the WAC. This could also be their 5th home victory of the season. I'm joined alongside Dylan Morello. It is a pleasure to have you back in the booth for the second half of play under the lights with a rain still coming down and a wind still blowing from right to left.
Yeah, good. We will look for a good start here by LTU as they really want to extend this lead early on, get the pressure off of them so they could not sit back, but at least, not have to force the ball too much, just play simple, stupid plays, play it safe as they're trying to get a goal right here. But on the Rochester side, I'm sure in that halftime break the coaches were talking about of getting more offensively out of their squad, as really in the first half, possession all LTU. Shots, you see for Rochester, they have 0 up on the board, so not even testing this LTU goalkeeper. So I think that's going to be their big adjustment in the second half. For LTU, just keep playing their game, keep playing their style, and try to put up another spot on the board to at least extend this lead to relieve some pressure from their team.
It was Kevin Wright, his 7th goal of the season in the first half. Early in that first half, that is the difference maker right now. Lining up to take the free kick, Blake Evans, and Jewett out. Ball loose momentarily. Jewett had to pounce on it for a second time.
Rain kind of stopped now, so maybe that will help both of these teams get a little bit of extra footing out there on the field. As you see Rochester already early in this half, Jason, moving their feet well, running to every loose ball.
Rochester did not go to the locker room during the break. You wonder what the message was from head coach David Anderson. They performed better than they did in last year's meeting with LTU. LTU won last year's meeting by a score of 7-0. They currently lead 1-0.
Yeah, talking to their coach before the game, just seemed like a really upbeat, positive guy. And I think that's the type of coach that you want as a Rochester player on your sideline coaching you up, as he's always positive, always looking to the bright sides of the game. So I'm sure on that bench, not too much negativity there, as you see a lot of the players had smiles on their faces in the warm-up. They're ready for the match. And it's only 1-0, so they're one strike away from getting this game all evened up.
Kevin Wright, can he settle this ball down? It was chipped away at the last moment there. Another nice play from Blake Evans. Evans, the Desert Hills High School alum. He's appeared in 4 games coming into tonight, and he's done an admirable job in his 5th appearance of the season. The Blue Devils in that 4-3-3 formation, and Rochester on the other side in that 4-5-1 look. Going to settle things down once again there. The ball will spurt back out to the midfield for Alvaro Alaman. Looking up ahead, trying to slip a pass through. It is Ryan Resendez, but sealed off.
Nice play there by Alaman. He reads the field so well as he threads the needle there through a couple of defending players, and LTU gets a good scoring opportunity. Alaman has those characteristics of just drifting to find space for not only himself but also for his own teammates, as he has that skill, as I mentioned before, to be an offensive defenseman. So everybody, even when he has the ball, they have to be paying attention not only to him but everybody that could be open there.
Alvaro Marino.
Turnover there as trying to play it into the middle of the field. Doesn't work there for LTU. And it'll come back to Jewett. Blue Devils good headers there to get it downfield, but once again, Rochester all over it right now. And that'll be an offsides there, Jason, as an offside means they're trying to get people to run and press forward. Rochester changing that up a little bit, as I think that's their first offsides of the match.
Saw Rochester kind of hang back and try to maintain a bit of a conservative possession, but in that first half, now we see them a bit more aggressive and trying to take advantage of opportunities on the road here. They'll have to come in with that mentality, you think, to, you know, is thinking that you're on the road and there is nothing to lose out here in a match like this. A team that you haven't beaten since 2013. Rochester hoping to leave it all out there in the second half. What is, at the end of the day, still just a one-goal game. It feels like the Blue Devils could be on top by one, maybe even two more. A goal that just narrowly missed. A shot from Chris Serwatka at the end of the first half, just narrowly missed, tucking underneath the crossbar. But at the end of the day, still a 1-0 game at the moment. Under 40 to play in the second half. Under the lights on homecoming week. Streaking down here, a little run down that right-hand side from Alvaro Alaman, but to no avail. It was too far ahead that time for the sophomore from the capital of Spain.
Yeah, if you look at that scoreboard from afar, Jason, it will say 1-0. You think it's a close game, but here for fans watching the game at home or in the stadium, really all LTU, as you've seen earlier in this second half. Rochester really, I mean, you know, changing their mentality from that first half. They're applying more pressure, but even with that pressure, LTU has adjusted their own game to what Rochester is showing, what they're showing in their hand, and now the ball is going to be back in their offensive end of the field. But also, as you mentioned, they're on the road, Rochester, as you hear the band still playing, fans still cheering here on the sidelines. The cheerleaders did a nice intermission little show for the fans, and it's rocking right now. So one quick goal by Rochester could get the fans out of the game, and not only that, but kind of put some doubt here on LTU's mind as they're trying to extend that win streak here tonight.
Men's soccer alumni were also celebrated during halftime. Here's a corner opportunity. Wyatt Chun trying to settle it down, and he does just that.
Yeah, right there, Chun again with a little bit of a muff ball, as the first goal and only goal this game was on a rebound that hit off his shin pads. As right there, it could also be the weather, as the ball right now is a little bit slick.
Looking to move in here, Mitchell Morosky, but Jewett back and saving any sort of danger that might have presented itself there.
Good play there by Jewett, even though he hasn't had a lot of pressure in this game. A little bit more early on here in the second half, but love how he's calm, cool, and collected back there, always paying attention, always focused. As he saw that ball just trickle through, and an easy snag and throw upfield.
Could have been the opportunity that Rochester might have been able to pounce on, one that they might look back on after this one and say, what if?
See Jewett again with that great awareness, and played up the field by Nicholson.
Bryce Nicholson looking for the speedy Nathan Tranzow, but the whistles are blown to halt that. Blue Devils will keep possession. And they'll play it back to the support here. Alvaro Garcia. Now down that left-hand side. Blue Devils unable to settle down the ball enough to look up the field or have time to look up the field there. A 4-match winning streak coming into tonight for Lawrence Tech, looking to extend that to 5 before their big matchup with Indiana Tech, as we see Kevin Wright substitute off the field.
Into the game for the Blue Devils, number 17, Oriol Baez.
Yeah, Wright, the lone goal scorer, getting a little bit of rest right now on the bench, as don't want to wear out the players too much, as there's still a lot of time here to go in this game. 34 minutes for Rochester to either tie it up or LTU to hold this lead.
Oriol Paez, the 6-foot junior from Barcelona, makes his way in. One of 6 Spaniards on the LTU roster, a very international roster. One of 12 players born outside of the U.S. on this Blue Devil team. They have brought in talent from around the globe and players that have made significant impacts. And the Blue Devils hoping to live up to expectations this season.
Yeah, you love to see that, how sports transcend barriers, and right there, just it's a full word, and that word is team. And everybody, even from different parts of the world, different languages, whatever they speak, they buy into a system, they buy into the coaching staff, they buy into each other, and that creates a winning team. And right now, that's what LTU has, as we mentioned throughout this broadcast, how they're trying to extend their win streak here to 5.
This will be the throw-in. Last time we saw a throw-in from that sort of angle, it was Rochester trying to get it as deep into the penalty area as possible. They'll take possession here, trying to slip through, and a shot gets off, but the flags were up there.
Offsides again on Rochester, as they're really pushing their strikers forward. Their midfielders are getting in on the attack as well, trying to play those balls up to their streaky offensemen, as even right there you see pressing Jewett and coming real close, intercepting that pass.
Was Morosky, the freshman who has impressed in his opening campaign with 3 goals. We said earlier we'd probably have to call his name quite a bit if this Rochester team was going to have any kind of success. There he is again, Morosky, Jewett saving the day. For the moment, it appears as though he has.
Great play there by Rochester as they finally get that ball in on Jewett. His first tough save of the evening, but he's up to the challenge.
Jewett not quite as relaxed as he was in the first half.
Yeah, that just goes to the coaching adjustments of Rochester, as right now they're just finding a way to find those holes, find those seams against this Blue Devil defense. And it's really just the mentality that the ball moves faster than your feet, and they're using the ball to their advantage, playing it upfield quickly, and it's working for them so far here in the second half.
Those halftime adjustments, it was interesting at the half. We saw Rochester stay out on the field. They could have had the option to go back to the locker room. The rain was pouring down. You wonder if maybe that was some sort of a message. I was calling a volleyball match a couple of weeks ago, and I saw a coach keep her team out on the floor during a break in which you would typically see the teams go back to the locker room. Instead of going back to the locker room, the coach made the team run sprints, and they came out with a bit of a different energy after that message was delivered across. Dylan, have you ever had that message between periods from a coach kind of change the flow of the team moving forward?
Oh, yeah, the coach is your leader. You know, you have captains, you know, you have your own mind, your mind's eye talking to you, what you could do better. But, you know, at the end of the day, the people that the team follows is the coach and the coaching staff. And the message right there just being sent is that, you know, there's no breaks. There's no breaks in the game. You still have to be thinking about it. You still have to be on the field, as I want to send back up to Jewett. But you still have to be out there. You know, LTU goes into the locker room, you know, a well-deserved break. But maybe on that other Rochester sideline, they're saying that, hey, the game's still going on. Be here, present in the moment. No times for breaks, as we're going to talk over some strategy and get right back on the field. And that's what they've shown so far here in the second half. Has a lot of chances, and they got their first shot of the game just moments ago.
Turf fields here at LTU, but maybe it's perhaps a very wet ball right now, and maybe it is that one kind of accidental slip off the foot. The ball maybe going in favor of Rochester at some point. If they can maybe find a moment like that to perhaps help them find an equalizer. We saw Morosky get pretty close to his 4th goal of the season, but Jewett saved the day.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer, Jason, and you make your own luck. And right there, even with the weather or whatever, you just have to be in the right position, right time, and good things will happen if you focus on the ball and your game plan, as the ball may bounce loose, and you take whatever you can get and turn it into a great opportunity, as you see on the far sideline right now, just the ball moving back and forth between both teams, as the possession right now this second half, as we see in the first, guys, all LTU this second half, I think it's pretty much 50-50 here.
Nathan Trans, it was Ryan Resendez rather, trying to make his way through, but cut off. And Dylan, like you said, it has been very noticeable that this Rochester team is a lot more aggressive defensively, taking away more space from this Blue Devil team than they did in the first half. Blue Devils were pretty comfortable moving down the field and through the midfield in that first half. It hasn't been the same story in the second. They will have a chance here for the free delivery, and that one will go far post, but too far that time for what looks like that's Michael Avia down there.
Yeah, even though this second half for LTU hasn't been the tail of the tape in that first half, I just love how they kept cool, calm, and collected. There's no there's no blaming each other for what's going on or getting shots on net. They're sticking to their game plan. They know their team. They know their teammates, and they believe in each other and their skill level. And it's showing right now. Even when Rochester brings up the pressure, they're staying calm, staying cool, and they're outmanning the ball at the point of attack as that one is sailed up. And Nicholson, easy little play back in his own end.
Nicholson turning, able to get that ball to stay in down the line and up to the midfield. And the Blue Devils back line being tested a tad bit, but able to clear it and stay comfortable. Nice little dicey pass there, though, finding A.J. Santai. Back to the midfield we go once more, with the Rochester looking to piece together some sort of an attack. Space closed off quickly there, but the header advances it. Rochester did a nice job with those quick, efficient touches, trying to move their way down, but couldn't quite settle those balls down, hopping off the artificial turf.
Yeah, quick give and goes there. Nice passing plays by Rochester, as it seemed to take at least 40, 45 and a little bit more minutes for Rochester just to get their groove up in this game. So LTU better be careful here, as soon as the passes start connecting, it could lead to a 1-2 and then a goal.
Some soccer teams will use what they'll call a dwell statistic, where you look at teams who dwell on the ball more instead of trying to get those quicker, efficient touches, and oftentimes it's the teams that don't dwell on the ball and move it ahead in an efficient fashion that have more success. And we've seen Rochester kind of have more success in the second half, not being so conservative.
Yeah, that's based on the personnel each team has, or the game plan the coaches put in before each game. Some teams, are good one-on-one, good defenders, so you want to kind of hold the ball, open space. But if you move the ball quickly, that will open lanes, as it makes players' heads start turning. They lose coverage, lose their man, or their ball watching. So either one of those three things could be good here for Rochester in the middle of this second half.
You can see how hard that rain is falling on your screens.
I don't know if that's considered moving up.
The umbrellas are back up, and the drama continues to build here from Southfield under the lights for this LTU men's soccer team. It's a pleasure to have you here on LTSN. It's a nice give and go there from Marino to Alaman. There's a shot hooking and sailing long.
Right off the uprights there of the football goal post, but LTU once again trying right there to get back to their offensive prowess that they showed in that first half. And you love on that right side, Alaman once again showing he could be as great at offense as he can at defense.
1-0 with 25 minutes to play. What should be a thrilling final 25 from the LTU Athletic Field. Rochester in search of an upset. The Blue Devils in search of their 5th straight win. That could give them sole possession of 3rd place in the WAC and improve their WAC record to 5-1. What could be a very tight and thrilling stretch down this final month of WAC men's soccer.
Yeah, this is the point of the season where you just want to really start streaking, getting hot, getting comfortable with your teammates. And LTU is showing that right now. Even 1-0, it's just the confidence level that this team exuberates is just thrilling to watch.
Alaman did well to recover defensively, then pushed it up the field. Here's Resendez trying to piece his way through. Couldn't quite find the space there. Now looking to counterattack. Here comes Rochester, settling it down, or trying to settle it down. Marco Gomez pressured and badgered there very tightly by Juan Yaramillo, the sophomore from Windsor. And now here is the whistle finally blown, and that will settle things down a bit. Long ball, looking for that quick, efficient ball down the field. Tougher to settle down, definitely less of a chance of producing anything there. And play will continue. A couple of players down back in the play, and there is the whistle that will come as this rain continues to fall. Appears to be Alex Ofimo, the Detroit native for Rochester, down on the field. Clock continues to tick. Substitutions are awaiting their chance to come back in.
Yeah, played on the injury advantage there. Rochester just kicks it right back to Jewett. Rain really starting to pour down hard once again here, Jason. So that will take a factor not only on the field, but I think fatigue as the water coming down, and that went off sides. LTU trying to lob it over the heads of the Rochester defense. Good idea. But as I was saying, the rain is going to take a toll on the body here as the chill probably now getting deep into the bones here of these soccer players.
Searching there for a Nicholas Rodriguez Bermejo in what is now an absolute downpour here in Southfield. It hadn't rained all day. We thought we would possibly avoid it. There's about a 30% chance, Dylan, when we checked before the game, but that definitely played out. And what we're looking at now doesn't looks a bit more than a 30% chance. It's trying to loft it down here, Rochester, but Jewett comes out calmly.
Speaking of 30% chances, Rochester, 30% time of possession here in this game. But you showed as the rain came down, doesn't mean their offensive boot can't come down here in this game. As they're looking here to tie it up with time winding down. As that one, another try to pass up, this time on the ground by LTU, trying to get a little break, but it would not go.
Once again, looking for Rodriguez Bermejo. Now through the midfield, Rochester. Can they find Mitchell Morawski? Couldn't do so.
Into the game for the Blue Devils, number 14, Jake Rajewski.
Rajewski makes his way back in for the Blue Devils, the junior from Midland.
First subs in a little bit of time here, giving a couple players time to dry off on that sideline.
Rajewski with one goal on the season. Who can be the one to find what could be the second of the night for the Blue Devils? Streaking in there when Santiago Vigo Blue Devil band serenading this atmosphere. Fans have their umbrellas up, looking on. Head coach Will Dyer looking on with his excellent coaching staff.
Has to be proud of the Blue Devils here with another set piece.
Here's the corner. And that one sails just wide. The Blue Devils, on a few different occasions, it feels like they have been inches away at the end of that first half, right there. It feels like they could be up a couple more goals, but at the end of the day, still a 1-0 game after another corner opportunity. That was the 8th corner of the night for Lawrence Tech compared to 0 on the Rochester side.
Yeah, still being inches away, Jason, you want to be in these types of games. Ones that, like, you're controlling the play, but you just can't seem to find the back of the net. And I've seen LTU in this stretch of wins, winning by blowouts, winning in close games, not being down any, but I'm sure with their talent and their confidence, being down a couple goals probably doesn't faze them, as they're still going to come out. And I love just the consistency that this team shows, playing to their game and coming out every game and playing that same way. And once you find that level of consistency, that level of confidence, it doesn't matter what situation you're in, being down, being up, or being in a tight game like here tonight, you're going to find a way to come out with the dub.
Lawrence Tech has shut out their last 4 opponents in this streak that has been absolutely dominant in whack play. Now looking to break through the middle. It is Adrian Milling. He's turned back, but keeps the battle alive, and possession will favor the Blue Devils once again here. Last 4 victories for the Blue Devils: 6-0 over Michigan Dearborn, 2-0 over Concordia, 4-0 over Aquinas, and 3-0 most recently over Cleary on this home field. The last loss came against rival Madonna, a very tough Madonna team. That was a 2-1 loss on this field. Since then, they've been on an absolute tear. Indiana Tech coming up next on the schedule for Lawrence Tech. That'll be a highlight match in the WAC. For the very moment, the Blue Devils are on track to keep this shutout streak alive with Max Jewett manning the goal. You mentioned this coaching staff for Lawrence Tech. Had a chance to chat with them early or in the week. Really nice group of guys. Always a pleasure to chat with the coaching staff. Ran into Coach Steve Cook a couple of nights ago. Had a chance to say hi to him, and it appears as though they will be satisfied if this Blue Devil team can keep up this level of play through the final 17 minutes now. As Nicholson drifts back here. Open space in the midfield and a chance to look up for Juan Yaramillo, who's had a nice second half. Michael Avia, the Canadian, looks in, chasing in after it. A couple of gray jerseys. Loose ball momentarily, but cleared away.
Big rebound there once again for the goalkeeper, but lucky for him, his defenseman right in front of him, and they clear that ball away real quick. I love how late here in this second half, LTU has adjusted to that big little push by Rochester. I'm sure on the LTU bench, they said that they're going to, it's just obvious after being down by 1, the team is going to come out stronger in the early stages of the second half, and I think they did. But LTU now weathering that storm literally and figuratively here tonight with the rain and also Rochester's pressure. But right now, loving how they're just controlling the ball, playing it on the outside, working it back to the middle, passing it back, not afraid to pass it back to their defensemen to reset up and regroup. And that's what LTU is known for.
Definitely a good system to keep it wide. This 4-3-3. There's 2 wide forwards that flank the lone striker who can get in there. And here's Yaramillo once again trying to manufacture something, delivers all the way across the field. Taken down hard there. I think that might have been Kevin Wright. Here's Michael Avia, Masters Football Club. He's matched his goal total from last season. Jewett will clear.
Still only 1 shot on the board for Rochester, as there's a player down here, Jason, in the backfield.
The Rochester player Clock under 16 minutes now. A 1-0 lead for Lawrence Tech. Kevin Wright responsible.
There's LTU players right now huddling in to talk about some strategy while the injury is getting sorted. The trainer comes out on the field to make sure he's okay. But love that leadership there by, it seemed like to be Amigo, calling his teammates in, as you see him talking right now, figuring out what their next plan, and they huddle up, get a little chat in, and they're gonna bear down here as the clock stopped. We have 15 minutes, 16 seconds remaining in the first game of this homecoming week.
Amigo, the senior, really taking that senior leadership role there. It was Marco Gomez who was carried off, the freshman from Guadalajara, Mexico. The throw in here will come from AJ Santani. We'll go back to Jewett, and we are back underway with the clock rolling here in the final 15 of the second half.
Good play there by Nicholson as the ball kind of evaded the LTU defender back there, and he had a little muff up, and Nicholson right there, as he mentioned, the cornerstone of that back end, being able to play it back up.
Time dwindling on the chances for an equalizer on the Rochester side. We mentioned it could be a very thrilling final month of the WAC season. It could be a very thrilling final 14 and a half minutes or so from the LTU athletic field. The Blue Devils looking for a bit more security. Trying to chase in here, looking far post. Out to make a save was Wyatt Chun. That time on Jake Rajewski, the junior, streaking down and looking that far post, but it was a tad bit too far to produce anything realistic.
Yeah, Rajewski coming down, barreling down hard on that right side. Tried to just get a boot on it real quick so it could hit off the goalie and become a corner kick, but the linesman says no.
Avila was taken down. Flag is up. Michael Avila into Kevin Wright. Wright now looking to settle it down. Worked against there by AJ Santai, the sophomore. Now here is the shot. Sailing high off the crossbar. The delivery came in that time from Tavin Ardell, the freshman who was in search of his first goal as a collegiate athlete. Rung off the crossbar, and we are still 1-0.
A ripper of a shot there, Jason, right off the crossbar, and it left a little mark there as that one shot from well outside, sailed over everybody. The goalie had his fingers outstretched trying to punch that one over the top, and it rings off some iron. LTU trying to extend that lead, still 1-0.
You can sense that they want that insurance goal.
It's always nice having that cushion. Is that one offsides once again against Rochester, as that cushion really just lets your team settle down. Lets also some bench players come into the game as well, as right now, pretty close match. You want to keep your starting lineup out there to try to ensure this win, but having the insurance goes a long way.
been a fun one tonight. Rain has appeared to slow down a bit. The pressure is up, though, still. The energy is still up. Both teams well conditioned as we get into the final month of the season. Each game pressure packed. Each game quite meaningful, as it is especially for Lawrence Tech as they try to climb their way to the top of the WAC conference, and that top is certainly in striking distance. Blue Devils currently sitting in 4th place in the conference at 4-1. Madonna also at 4-1, but Madonna owning the tiebreak by virtue of beating LTU on this field. Although LTU can, at least until Saturday, take sole possession of 3rd place if they can hold on under the lights tonight. UNOH at 5-0 in the WAC, and at the top, Indiana Tech 5-0-1.
Yeah, that was a tough game against Madonna for LTU, but I think that was a learning game, a learning curve for them and their coaching staff as they see what the top-end teams, what it's like to play against them. And now so far throughout this season, they have become one of those top 3 teams here in the league, in the division. And I think right now, if this score comes out, they will claim that 3rd place, and that's where they belong. As the header there, you see the water coming right off of the ball, off of the hair of all the players. And the rain kind of slowed down now, but definitely torrential downpour.
Final 10 minutes from the point. Tavin Ardell, who was a threat just moments ago with that right foot, ball that rung off the crossbar. Now the Blue Devils looking to make it through the midfield, turning and looking. Here we go back to Ardell. Tavin Ardell still. Now down that right-hand side, Jake Rajewski! That one just cleared out by Martin Ivasai, the Albanian.
Good play there by the defense coming back as the clear right behind, and it will be another corner kick here for LTU, the 10th of the evening. But you love how Rochester really buying into this defensive, this home stretch, if you will, trying to give themselves a chance here to tie it up.
Defending on the edge of the 6-yard box, and there it is. They have struck twice.
And that's what I was looking for, Jason, the first set-piece goal here of the evening. As that one, just the previous play I was saying right before that goal, a great play by Rochester just to give LTU the corner kick. As now they get that corner kick, that set piece, and LTU just very deadly there. If you give them a chance to just play a free ball into the box, they will make you pay, as that was their 10th opportunity here tonight. And the 10th one goes in.
Alvaro Garcia, assisted by Adrian Miling.
That's the cushion that LTU wanted and what we are preaching here in the booth as all the fans go crazy, and I think a little bit of a breather, a little bit of weight off the chest there as it was getting to nail-biting time, as we say, the last 10 minutes of the game, as fans at the edge of their seats trying to hang on with the slippery bleachers here tonight, but well worth coming out and battling through the water. As 2-0 here for your Blue Devils, 8 minutes remaining in this match.
It's Garcia's 3rd of the season, his 12th career goal, and it is a goal that perhaps has put this one away, and perhaps has won the 5th in a row for the Blue Devils. 2-0, your score now as we hit the final 8 minutes from the LTU athletic field. Rochester in need of what most would call a miracle right now. Chris Serwatka working defensively, Louis Byrne, the London native. Byrne again, but turned back. Can the Blue Devils counter? Forwards running. A little bit of open space, but unable to settle it down there. Although here is Rajewski. Can he make something out of this? Leading in Kevin Wright in search of his second of the night. And there it is for Kevin Wright. Magical on multiple occasions.
LTU once again breaking through, and that's exactly what the doctor had ordered here, as the fans going nuts, and it's just an opening of the floodgates literally here, as LTU gets 1 and 2 in quick fashion there, Jason. And right now Rochester is just trying to find out what happened, as they were literally 1 strike away from tying the game, and now with 6:53 here remaining, as time winding down, they put themselves in a real big hole here.
Kevin Wright's second of the night, his 8th of the year, and it is 3-0 in favor of the Blue Devils. And this one is just about over now. The Blue Devils can stare into an 8-4-1 record and an improvement to 5-1 in the WAC. Barring an absolute collapse on this field. What a night for Kevin Wright. His 8th of the year. Couple of goals, he got things started, and now he might have just finished things off. The junior from Linden, Michigan.
Yeah, really coming into his own here this season. As you mentioned, 8 goals. He's a junior, so, players, younger than him look up to him. And not only look up to him for goals, but look up to him in what he does on and off the field. And he has a great work ethic. You see him in the gym. You see him at practice. Practice like you play, and I see those strikes every day on the field while they practice, and, it doesn't get any better than that to really show to the young guns here that no matter what, just keep plugging away, keep working, and success will follow.
Adrian Miling back to Nicholson, the sophomore who's been given quite a bit of trust on that LTU backline that has performed well tonight. Now Kevin Wright lofting one in. Rajewski, that's high, sailing. Second one off the right foot of Rajewski that has sailed just long in search of what could have been a 4th. We mentioned that the Blue Devils in the last 4 meetings against Rochester, they've scored at least 4 in all of those, so they might have been trying to keep that track going there.
Yeah, right. Once again, as I was just mentioning, his work ethic, his skill, he not only could shoot, but he also can make sick passes. And right there, just a nice little tip by the boot off the laces right into the middle, and that strike just went high.
It has been an enchanting last few minutes thanks to these Blue Devils. They have put smiles on the faces of this Blue Devil faithful, looking to advance ahead once again there, but just falls out. Although the Blue Devils will keep possession here with Alvaro Alaman, who's had such a nice night, the sophomore from Madrid, home of the gargantuan 85,000-seat stadium that houses Real Madrid.
And we have a couple.
Don't want to see that late in the game, up 3-0. Frustrations collide a bit here. The two sides will come together. Can't quite make out the number of the injured player.
Might be Amigo. As I think it is. He was holding his hand there on the field. And he got twisted up there on the turf.
Will there be a booking here? I'm not sure if I see a yellow card. Frustration perhaps boiling over now from Rochester.
Shaking his hand.
Yep. Dylan, we called a football game together earlier this year where we saw some frustrations really boil over that first game. that we did against Pitt. And when you are outdoing an opponent like this at the end of a game, we sometimes can see these kind of moments. You don't want to see it, but at the end of the day, hoping the player is all right.
Yeah. It is tough though when you're so close. You say it's only 1-0. You're one boot away from tying up the game, and then your team, it just seems, collapses in the last 8 minutes of the game. So it's a natural human reaction, but that's where the coaching comes in, and just your mentality and how mature you are as a player. You don't want to give anything up to the other team, and also penalties or cards or fouls, slow the game down. As we saw in that Pitt game, it was a blowout, but with just so many flags and everything, it was a long game. But here, up until that last point where the teams converged on each other, black versus gray there, pretty solid played game, pretty good sportsmanlike from both teams.
So there was a booking. Michael Wheeler was given the yellow card, and that'll set up the free kick here.
Free kick there, and once again, Rochester's goalkeeper cannot handle that ball. Maybe the water, the wetness on it is coming into play, but just right now, throughout this whole game, with the shots now getting up for LTU 4, just not really being able to find it.
Wyatt Chun making another start tonight for Rochester. That ball slipped off of his hands, and it'll produce what will be another corner for the Blue Devils. We've seen them capitalize already once tonight. That one punched out off the head that time of Martin Ivasai, one of the bright spots for Rochester tonight, the freshman on that back line. As we approach the final 2 minutes now, Blue Devils up 3-0. They have exploded late in this one. A couple of goals from Alvaro Garcia and the second from Kevin Wright. Now they'll loft it down once again. Sirwatka looking to settle things down. There's a shot. Pinball is off a black jersey. Now looking to counterattack. Here comes Rochester. Nice little nifty move through the midfield, attempting to create something here. Nathan Tranzow well out of his net. Max Jewett, and he clears of any danger.
Jewett having none of that, wants to keep it for the second game in a row. Only one shot on him, as that one shot was actually pretty tough, but Jewett hanging in there, staying focused, calm, cool, and collected, as the WAC Player of the Week last week is known to do. And around here, around campus, around his team, he's one of those players you love to have on your own team, as posting now what could be 5 shutouts in a row.
A little bit of danger there. And Jewett at 6'6", trying to hold his ground through these final 90 seconds, hoping for a 5th consecutive shutout. They've locked up a 5th consecutive win. Can they make it a 5th consecutive shutout? No danger there. Jewett, his star really is rising around campus, as you mentioned. Trying to lead this Blue Devil team to a postseason run under head coach Will Dyer. Although head coach Will Dyer has talked about taking it with a game-by-game mentality, and that appears to be what they've done. A little bit of open spaces here for this Blue Devil team on the attack. The shot, couldn't quite get it off. Now Matthew Shemin, and one just short of a 4th.
Very close there, as you see the hands raised in the stands, and also the players' heads looking to the sky, as that one I thought for sure would tickle the twine.
Almost continued that streak that we mentioned earlier there. Looking for 4 in a row. It has been 4 in a row with at least 4 goals against Rochester. Although I think they'll be satisfied with 3-0. I don't think that streak is on their mind right now. Another ball lofted over the top. Can they get in on side here? Looking for a call. The Blue Devils are not done yet with under 10 seconds to play. Adrian Myling dispossessed. Alvaro, and that should do it. Nicholson will get the last touch of the ball. It was a brilliant performance from this Blue Devil team in the second half. 3-0, the final, and Lawrence Tech will improve to 5-1 in the WAC, and for the moment take sole possession of third place in the WAC, improving to 8-4-1 on the year under head coach Will Dyer. It was a splendid performance. Kevin Wright undoubtedly is the star of the night. 2 goals, up to 8 on the season now. Dylan, it was a pleasure to work this one with you. Thank you again for tuning in, wherever you may be, to the LTU Athletics YouTube channel and the LTU Athletics Facebook page. Once again, we'll be live on Saturday at noon Eastern Time for the LTU homecoming football game. You can catch that right here on LTSN. Thank you once again for tuning in, saying so long, and I hope you have a wonderful night. I'm Jason Ross Jr.